This is Fieldsports Channel News. The government has pledged to take action on the debanking scandal that affects hunts and shoots. Chancellor Jeremy Hunt this week asked the Financial Conduct Authority to investigate in order to reassure the public and increase transparency. It comes after people and companies, including gunsmith Steve Horton, had their bank accounts frozen. Steve, who owns Birmingham gunsmith Horton & Sons, says his company account was blocked twice and his firm asked to return card machines. He recently tried to acquire an engineering business unrelated to gun making and says that 75% of lenders turned him down because they deemed his gun making business was unacceptable. Steve has designed a lead shot replacement he calls Hortonium. He says the Innovate UK government grant body turned down investment for, he believes, the same reason.
It makes you feel like a criminal, and it's not just banks, it's the government organisations as well, such as Funding Circle, which is backed by the Great British Business Bank, and more organisations like that. You can't apply for grants, you can't apply for a whole number of things that are government backed, so it's not just commercial business banks who have a problem with shooting.
A Scottish gamekeeper has used his Lifetime Achievement Award to slam the Scottish Government for its deer policy. Peter Fraser, who's one of the most experienced keepers in the UK after more than 40 years working in the countryside, says a recent government decision to allow male deer to be killed all year round could decimate the domestic venison sector. The 76-year-old vice chairman of the Scottish Gamekeepers Association received the prestigious Ronnie Rose Award at the recent Moy County Fair in Inverness. It celebrates his services to conservation and education in relation to deer management. Peter says the plan to allow shooting of male deer will critically weaken stock and devalue Scottish venison. As well as giving you the headlines, sometimes we make them ourselves. Fieldsports Britain led the way with a scoop of our own last week. The national papers snapped up our story about Trace Coffey's non-attendance at the game fair, where Charlie caught up with her replacement, Coffey the cauliflower. It's not just Trace Coffey who's on the chopping board. Name the politician you think would make a great vegetable. Comments below. Basque has announced there's £2,000 worth of prizes for those taking part in this month's Best in the Field clay shooting event. It takes place at Sporting Targets in Bedfordshire from August the 19th, 2023. Fitask Sporting World Champion Ed Solomons designed the course. Ed says shooters should expect clays covering all game shooting scenarios, including high pheasant and driven grouse. There are categories for gamekeepers, women, young shots, parent and child, and a team event. Pre-booking is essential. Link below. Southern Water is to become the first water company for 20 years to face a private criminal prosecution. Fish Legal, which works with the Angling Trust, has brought the case alleging the water company mismanaged a pollution incident on the famous River Test in Hampshire 2 years ago. Most cases like this are only ever seen in civil courts. The company will appear before the bench in Southampton on September the 28th, 2023. Welsh fly fisherman and author Gwilym Hughes has launched a petition to try and protect fish stocks on Welsh rivers. Gwilym, a Wales international angler, is trying to change legislation relating to licences to cull cormorants and goosanders. He also hopes his fight to protect dwindling fish numbers for salmon, sea trout and eels in Wales will be taken on across the UK. The former police detective has petitioned the Welsh Government, urging them to change regulations, allowing year-round control on predatory birds. His petition has already gathered nearly 1,500 signatures. We will have a full interview with Gwilym in a future bulletin. Falcon racers have raised £30,000 worth of cash prizes, plus funding to get youngsters into the sport. The Brits have been proactive in showcasing their style of falconry pursuit racing using a prey bird style drone. This is them in Saudi at the end of last year. The main UK event is held at Vowley near Swindon on the 16th and 17th of September. And this year, Roy and his fellow falconers have worked hard to raise the prize pot to encourage more to train and compete, plus invest in falconry's future.
Part of that prize fund is going towards sponsoring 10 children to have an amazing immersive falconry experience, and hopefully this will give them the opportunity to venture in, have a taste at it, see if they like it, and then if they do, there's going to be support going through and enable people to come and join this fantastic sport.
Shoot foxes and you get more curlews. That's the conclusion of a new survey of grouse moors commissioned by the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust. The GWCT survey, which has been peer-reviewed, discovered curlew pairs produce 4 times as many chicks on managed moors, helping to reverse an alarming trend in the loss of these extraordinary and iconic birds. A study by the RSPB shows curlew numbers have dwindled by 42% since 1995. A loss of habitat caused by moorland drainage and predation by animals including foxes has been blamed for their decline. The scientists surveyed 18 sites on moorland and moor edge farmland across North Wales, Northern England, the Scottish borders and the Scottish Highlands over the breeding season. YouTube took down an audiobook that presented the conservation benefits of big game hunting, then reinstated it. Sue Tidwell's book Cries of the Savannah is back on YouTube as a full-length audio book. She says she doesn't know why YouTube took it down, but she suspects a flagging attack by antis. The story of a non-hunter's experience while on a hunting trip in the African savannah is a 14-hour-long epic, read by the American writer herself. And finally, how would you like your squirrel? Social media sensation and Welsh hill farmer Gareth Wyn-Jones plans to serve a new range of squirrel burgers at a pop-up restaurant he's hosting at the Welsh Game Fair in September. Gareth is now on the hunt for a supplier of meat from the non-native grey squirrels to supply his new venture. North Wales is a grey squirrel success story, with air gunners wiping them out from the island of Anglesey to allow a thriving red squirrel population. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stuck in the stories, fishing for facts.